Hello,
Okay.
people who are watching now.
Hey, anyone who is already watching this, in which case you're incredibly organised.
There is not anyone watching this.
Yeah, there's no one watching this. Excellent.
We can say whatever
Just
we like.
just like a Quidditch tournament.
I know. What? much like Quidcast South, no one is here to listen.
Talking to the empty void.
So yeah, basically we can just sort of start by saying we're all wearing Snidgets jerseys because
we can just insult teams, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I've never
We've got a viewer. We have one viewer.
This is still recording, isn't it? Like people can go back and watch this later on.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, we're defecting from the werewolves. That's
So the Chaucers.
all
The
these
shock
things.
twist.
Okay, so basically we are just going to go through the BQC groups and give our initial reaction to the whole thing. Now, I think we should all just recreate the moment when we heard when up on the screen in front of us came the groups.
I think it was like the desperate hunt through names.
There was
got a moment of processing.
And then there's
Oh no.
And then there was a sort of collective for about
I think I was going more like
Wait, where I haven't even seen where the werewolves are. Where are you guys?
we're Group D. Bears.
It's not
So we've got we've got the Grizzle Bears again.
It's almost a group of death in some ways. But
Yeah, almost, but
Anyway,
yeah. So what we will do is just basically go through and give you our live reactions, which is pretty accurate because we are
that's true. I haven't even looked at Group 8 yet. That one.
No idea. So okay, Group A, which is very relevant to Matt.
Incredibly
And
relevant.
to all of us, the Snidgets.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Snidget Mafia that runs the Quidditch Post, as we well know. Yeah, Group A. You feel like Kiel have got this group.
I feel like all the top seeds, with the possible exceptions of
Chimeras.
Loughborough and Grizzle Bears, have got their groups. And of course, Chimeras are going to get trashed by the Unspeakable.
That's
Obviously.
vote of confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
No,
With
I think-
Bangor sort of struggling a little bit this season, obviously St Andrews played Kiel at Northern. Didn't do horrendously.
I
But
think St Andrews
obviously
on
not
a really
good
good
enough
day
to beat them.
could give Bangor trouble.
They
Yeah.
could probably give Bangor trouble, but not Kiel.
Yeah. Neffler's.
And it would definitely be nice to exercise those Norwich teams.
How physical is St. Because I mean, Unspeakable played St Andrews and Highlander. It's been pretty serious. They weren't as physical as Bangor tend to be. Is that?
No, we're still.
No, Bangor is quite a physical team.
No, St Andrews are generally. Yeah, St Andrews is generally not a very physical team.
Okay.
Mostly speedy.
It's mostly speedy and passy and beaty.
Yes, like, there is physicality,
Yeah.
There is physicality, but is it at the same level as?
and maybe action. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I think that's about the same level Norwich are at in terms of physicality. But I think Snidgets probably have the edge there. But I haven't seen Norwich play since Southern, and even then, only a little bit.
But I think Group A is Bangors to lose.
Yeah.
Because I think Snidgets could really give them a run for their money potentially, and I think the Norwich St Andrews rematch will be something to behold because there's a grudge there. There's a really strong grudge there.
Literally, no one else in the country cares about it.
No one else cares. But they
I
do.
still suffer. I still suffer.
In fact, you probably have the three people who care most about that.
Yeah, probably
Hosting
actually.
this.
Yeah.
We haven't got Ben Middlemiss.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
Ben,
that's true.
Ben
Got
was
sent off in that
Yeah.
game.
He's not even playing anymore for Snidgets. All right, so Group B. Chimeras,
Matt, do you want to take us
Hippogriffs,
through this one?
Direwolves, Unspeakables.
So Chimeras, this small up and coming scene from Oxford. I think they're gonna. No, that's gonna be. I mean, look, Chimeras and Hippogriffs, two from my standing, pretty excellent teams. But I think Chimeras, safe to say they've got Unspeakables. Yeah, it's been a rough season, but considering with Roxton we just had, they really started to finally come to their own. So yeah, Elton will give us as well, but no, I think we'll hold our own. We'll give them a good fight for the money.
I think you guys are definitely on the up from
Absolutely,
like the beginning of the season.
absolutely. I have every confidence in my team to take on the majority of that circle.
Yeah.
And you know, it should be a good group to watch. Actually, there's going to be some good Quidditch.
I agree.
I'm going to say the magic words that is going to make Ashara punch me. I think we'll struggle. I think the Direwolves. I think you underrate the Direwolves at your peril at this point.
I've never seen the Direwolves play. I have never played against the Direwolves, so I would not know how to rank them. I've played against Hippogriffs. I've seen Chimeras, but I don't know about.
I played with some of the Direwolves at Summer Cup. And I think if they're going to be a solid team.
Yeah.
I think that'll be swim range that game.
Obviously, I mean they beat Leeds at Northern. They're not, by any stretch of the imagination, a pushover.
Yeah, but Leeds have taken over the Leicester thing of being completely.
That is true. You can never tell what Leeds are doing at all.
Yeah. So I think that'll be actually a group of really interesting matches because I think Chimeras Hippogriffs will be a really interesting match. I would expect Chimeras to win that, but I think it will be.
I think if
Hippogriffs are aggressive enough to give them trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it depends on the beta game because a lot of Edinburgh's play depends on their domination of the beta game.
Okay.
So when they played Nottingham and Durham at Northern, they were able to shut Nye and Ben down. And Edinburgh struggled. They couldn't get much go forward because a lot of their gaps, they're exploited by Ollie, who's a top player, but they're made by Ben and Nye. And if the Chimeras beaters can shut down Ben and Nye, then Chimeras should be quite comfortable, I think. With all due respect for the Hippogriffs.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to Group C, we've got Warwick, SQC2, Derby, and Quidlings. Which again, I think that'll be
last year. That would have been a completely different power balance. Now.
Yeah, completely.
That
different.
would be an interesting group.
I agree. I think. I mean, obviously, I think Warwick will storm that group fine.
Yeah, Warwick will dominate.
But SQC2, Derby, and Quidlings, I think that depends completely on the day. To be honest, that could be anyone's game.
Quidlings haven't been fantastic this season.
No.
But Derby. I mean, they won the lower bracket. Obviously, they were in the lower bracket, so they're not pushing the top of that region. But I reckon Derby versus SQC2 will be a very, very interesting matchup.
I think it'll all be because I think Quidlings, whilst they haven't done as well this season, they always have the potential to do really well, and I think that's the same with Derby. SQC2, I'd say, are more consistent, but I think that if Derby or Quidlings are having their day, who can say? So
you got to hope BQC is the day they're bringing. So
I mean, what's great is that so far we've gone through 3 groups and all of them have interesting stuff happening.
Yes, and I think probably the organisers have probably thought about that too. They've tried to make it look like there's going to be some really good matches in every single.
Well, I assume they didn't.
No, I assume they.
I doubt they had the balls in the microwave. Classic FA Cup tray.
But I think they. I think the way that they've sorted it with the first seeds, the second seeds, and the 2 other groups, that seems to have worked really, really well. Yeah. So credit to them for coming up with that. That's really good.
Well, it's a simple system, and it works well because it's simple.
Yeah. No,
why shouldn't we?
Okay, so Group D. This was one which Alex and I just went, oh! Because once again, it's Brizzle Bears Werewolves, guys.
I think that's basically just our Southern Graph Redux.
Pretty much. Kind of is, yeah. And then,
because I think Reading, similar level to the Unspeakables, Cambridge probably a similar level to whoever the other two were. Swansea. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, so it's Brizzle Bears, Reading, Werewolves, and Cambridge. And that, again, I think
that the order of that group could be a good indication of how it goes as well. I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, Werewolves Bears should be a good match. I mean, what did you guys place in Southern between those two?
We beat Bears.
You beat Bears, yeah.
But it was
70-40.
Yeah, and also neither team played well. Like Bears would be the first to turn around and go, "We had no idea what we were doing in that match," and Werewolves would turn around and go.
I can't say that was a good game.
No, so I think that was an odd game in itself, so it will be interesting to see both teams.
Yeah, I think a lot depends on rosters. And
I would agree.
I feel that Group D is probably the first group we've come across where we're not really saying that the first seeds are nailed on.
No, I think everyone always knew the Brizzle Bears were the most vulnerable of the top seeds.
Yeah, but then Werewolves are probably one of the second seeds that Brizzle Bears wanted to avoid, especially after Southern.
You say that?
Probably, I would have said Falmouth, Taxes, and Werewolves would be the the ones to and Hippogriff. No, there's quite a lot of second seeds to avoid.
Yeah.
That's true. You mean you don't want any of them really?
Yeah, exactly.
Teams first
You
team.
sort of looked at them and went.
Yeah, to be honest, of those, I think SQC2 and Bangor and Leeds are probably the ones people would. I don't know. Yeah,
The Bears would have gone for it.
it's very difficult to choose who you'd want out of that because any of them you can point to things that like you don't want to play that team on their day.
Yeah, but I think as well, Bears and Werewolves need to be careful against Reading because if stuff just starts to go wrong, if you get cards at the wrong time, that sort of thing. Yeah, I know. If you get both your beaters and two chasers, if you get both your beaters, a keeper and a chaser sent off at once, Reading will probably score some points against you as well.
You hope they score just one if that happens.
Well done, guys. So yeah, I think that will not be an easy. I think that's potentially the closest we have to a group of death. Possibly.
Yeah. I think the top two seeds, the bottom two seeds, are quite close.
Yeah.
What does Cambridge do at Southern? I remember they lost to Exeter, didn't they?
Yes, I think so. I think they're not.
And they were also in the Bristol Bees group. I don't think I saw them play.
No, I don't think I
should have saw them at a distance. Sort of
I think we were playing at the same time with them for all of them because we try and see all the matches, like at least each team at least once. But sometimes, obviously, if you're playing, you just can't do that.
It seems like Cambridge haven't kicked on too much from last season.
Yeah.
No, because Cambridge were a little bit of a surprise package. I thought they played quite well.
Southern.
No, BQC last year.
Okay, yeah.
They seem to have sort of stalled.
They had. I think they had Angus Barry playing for them then, who I think is not playing for them now, as I remember.
Anyway, Group E, we've got SQC 1, Falmouth, Manchester, and York Horntails, which I
think Falmouth need to be careful of York.
Yeah, I think Falmouth need to be careful of York. And I think York will probably place third, possibly second out of that. And I think that Falmouth's SQC will be a really good match as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be an interesting group. Manchester, I haven't seen play.
Manchester are going to have a rough BQC. Unless they've kicked on from Northern, which is possible, they're going to have quite a nasty time because they got beat 250-0 by the Nightmares. And SQC are probably in that same bracket.
Yeah.
Falmouth aren't far behind them. They got a really, really rough day, first day.
I think it would be a baptism of fire, but to be honest, if you're a new team, matches like that are what are going to really, really, really help your squad because when we started out for St Andrews, going and playing Chimeras was probably one of the best things that happened to the squad because when you play up against Quidditch like that, it's just
I'm just looking back at Group B. I mean that's the best thing.
You know, when that happens, it allows your squad to get a lot of experience that you wouldn't have had previously. One of the really interesting things is that if you're playing against a team who is that experienced and that much better than you, everyone brings their A game and you learn stuff from them. By the time you get to, and the second game or whatever, you've already learned things and you're watching good things. Mm. So it'll be a really, really good experience for them. And hopefully, they might potentially surprise a couple of people if, they've been pulling things along.
I think it'd be unwise to underestimate anyone.
Yeah,
it's always unwise to underestimate anyone because things like the St Andrews Norwich game can happen. Yeah. You're leading and you lose 90 points or whatever. I still blame Ben, but
I wasn't playing. I had nothing to do with it.
I think Manchester. York are improving a lot. If they can sort of spread their player base, because they do rely a lot on their captain. But if they can sort of get another couple of players, then they could feasibly, give these first two a bit of a run. I think that it's going to be quite comfortable for the seeds in that group.
I think York can probably give Falmouth a hard time at the chaser game, but I can't imagine they'd trouble them much with the beaters.
Although Falmouth have got a bit of an issue with their Seeker game at the moment.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I guess York probably. I don't know if York got any.
Seeker game doesn't matter if you're out of range.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to Group F. We've got Loughborough, Leicester, Flying Chaucers, and Brizzlebees.
That's going to be interesting.
I think considering we've got L tournament this weekend as well,
Yeah.
actually, I think it's going to be a very interesting. It's just going to make this weekend coming much more interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good indication of what we can see a lot of people. That'll be interesting. I think Leicester and Loughborough will be a really tight game. Actually.
Yeah, I think like Group D, that's the one where the top seeds are closest.
Yeah, I would agree.
Leicester are definitely a side on the up at the moment, and if they're in swim of Loughborough, I would tip Leicester to win.
Leicester, yeah.
Because they've got with Joe Wilson, who is one of the best seekers in the country at the moment, in my opinion. Caught every single snitch you could at Northern. So, if Leicester get in swim range,
and I think
they'll probably win. It's if they can deal with Loughborough's physicality.
Yeah. I think Loughborough are more kind of generally complete team, but I mean, having seen Leicester play at London Still the First, they were. I mean, I don't think they were necessarily trying that hard, to be honest, but they just really kept sort of ploughing it home again and again and again. And they have a really innovative, aggressive beta game, which is a complete pain to deal with.
Yeah.
They've got
we see like these new teams trying different things. Yeah.
But I think that'll be interesting. And Brizzlebees are actually Brizzlebees are pretty good.
Brizzlebees could potentially give Leicester a little bit of trouble if they underestimate them.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
I think we all need to acknowledge that the Chaucers are going to come last in that group.
Probably yes.
I like the Chaucers. I played with lots of Chaucers.
They're really good. They're lovely people.
I think the Bees will be better when it comes to the match between them.
I think they have the advantage of getting to train with Bears.
Yeah.
And I think that for second teams, that will give you the advantage as a second team over some of the lesser teams that are just starting up, who don't get to train with other teams regularly, because I think that's what really, in the end, it's playing matches and scrimmages that really advance your game. So
I think the aim for the Chaucers is to not turn up wearing capes again, like they did last year.
Ponchos, please.
The ponchos.
Yeah,
it was sort of
a weird.
Yeah, I think the Chaucers will. Yeah, they'll probably come last, unfortunately.
But
I haven't seen any of them. I don't think since BQC. Did they go to Southern?
We had four of them played
the Werewolves
for,
at Southern.
Yeah.
And they were solid players, but I think
who I think will have taken quite a lot from Southern and hopefully taken it back.
Southern was what? How long ago now?
3 months.
And then there's another month until BQC. So a lot can change in that time too.
Yeah.
And I think they will, as I said, for them, the four of them playing with the Werewolves, I think will have really helped, not just from playing with us, but also getting to play against those other teams, being part of a team that's sort of using different strategies and things to what you would know if you were just a new team. So hopefully they'll have taken a lot of that back and, help bring the team on with those. So that could be. Yeah, we'll see. But it'll be good to see how they progress. I'm looking forward to watching some of their matches.
Yeah, I just hope they don't sort of get disheartened if they get hammered a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's.
Or take it and learn from it, and it might cause.
That's how you sell it. Like how do you sell a team? Okay, we're gonna win, or we're gonna go and we just do everything we can. We're just gonna get better from it. So it's a trial by fire.
I think a lot of teams can come out these things. Yeah, I mean, there's the danger that they'll just, all go, we were rubbish and no one will turn up and play again. But I think one of the things that I think Quidditch does really, really well is it hooks you and you don't actually care if you lost. As long as you played well and as long as you can see your team improving, you can come away from stuff and you can really, really make it. I think it can be more harmful being a sort of middling team who loses to someone you're not expecting to, than to be a lesser team who comes in and actually just slightly surprises everyone. Even if you lost everything, you can still turn up and be like, you know what, we did a damn good job.
Yeah. Well,
and people will recognise that.
The last 2 heavy defeats I've been on the wrong end on are Snidgets versus Chimeras at BQC 2 and Werewolves versus Southampton and Southern. I mean, it's sort of heavy-ish. But in both of those, you can kind of take away. That's reasonably clear. Yeah, you can take away the point of like you made them sweat.
Yeah.
You made it uncomfortable for them. And I think that's what your goal should be against these top teams. It's not to win or to get close. It's to make them work really hard for it and make them respect you on the field.
Absolutely. I think that's the goal for any sort of any non-seeded teams who are going to kind of come and not really know what's going on.
Snidget's Chimeras. First 3 games were all about 200-0, 210, that sort of thing. BQC was only like 130-10. And
we scored 3. We scored 3 at BQC.
No, we didn't.
Yes, I'm sure we did.
No, we definitely didn't. Because
that's not the point anyway.
Yeah, he just likes to rub in the fact that he scored the only one.
Sergey
got the only one against the Bristol Buffs.
Yeah. Anyway, Group G, whilst we stop massaging Alex's ego.
No. Let's talk about the Snidgets some more. I need some representation.
Group G, we've got Durhamstrang, Taxes, Chester, and Kiel Krakens. So, Taxes and Durham will be a really good match.
I think Taxes have a shot there.
Yep, I think they do.
Yeah.
But I think Durham need to be careful with them. I would expect Durham to just come out I think both teams on their day doing really well. I would expect Durham to come out of it, but I think they should definitely not go into that expecting it because I think they're going to have to really try.
Yeah.
That'll be good, and I think Chester and Kiel Krakens. That I couldn't really call that. I don't think.
Kiel Krakens have only played like 2 matches ever.
Yeah. Good point, Chester.
The players of Krakens have come from Squirrels as well, though.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's the training thing again. So
I think a lot of I think Kiel Krakens are fairly experienced for a B team.
Yeah.
But looking from the doc results, they seem to be sort of similar to where the Direwolves are.
Yeah.
Right. And the Direwolves, they did quite well at Northern. They held a lot of the bigger teams. Chester are a solid side, but they're a little bit limited. In that they've got very good defensive beaters, but very little going forward.
Right.
So they're difficult to break down, but they also don't score a huge amount.
Right.
If Kiel are smart about their beater game, then I feel that Chester are there to take him for the Krakens.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things again where a lot of it will come down to just how the team naturally play. Like if you've got one very defensive team against one team who's generally more offensive, then that can be a very stalemate match. It just all kind of depends. A lot of that at that point, it does hang on the beta game, because if you've got 2 teams that are both sort of need to have bludger control in order to be scoring hoops, then that's going to be a sort of quite an interesting back and forward affair, really. So, yeah, I probably don't know enough about either of those teams to call it, but again, I would say that there's going to be at least two very interesting matches in that group. So, I think that's really the best you can really hope for from these.
I think Group G is pretty clear cut. Top 2 seeds are going through, bottom 2 seeds aren't. But I can see upsets within those little mini brackets.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Okay, and finally, Group H, we've got Nottingham Nightmares, Leeds Griffins, Hollywood Hippogriffs Seconds, and Swansea Seven Swans.
Nottingham have got this.
Let's
just get that out.
I would like to go on record saying if Nottingham don't come out of that group as the top seed going into the bracket, I'll be very, very surprised.
I think they would be disappointed if they did not come out of that bracket.
Yeah, but
Leeds?
I mean, based on this season's results, pretty much anything could happen with Leeds.
Yeah, exactly.
They could give the Nightmares a tough game and sail through as second seeds, or they could come a cropper at Swansea.
Or they could give Nightmares a tough game and then come a cropper at Swansea.
Yeah.
So
Swansea, I think, are going to be a good side.
How did Swansea do it at Sullen? They surprised a lot of people, didn't they?
They beat the Unspeakables. I remember that.
Yeah,
no, they did. Yeah, no, I think we Unspeakable actually underestimated Swansea a bit. I think it's something we thought, okay, cool, they're a newer team, they haven't really played before, and like it was still a close game, but I think they gave us a good run. But I think they gave Wales a bit of a run as well.
It was Bristol Bears. They were quite
No,
close
Bristol
to.
Bears.
It was Bristol Bears. Okay, yeah.
We won like 110-14. They called the snitch. So.
Yeah.
But what I saw from them was they got great physicality. Their beta game isn't there yet, but their chase game will be very good.
Yes.
Once they work out passing and not throwing the ball underarm, which they kept doing for some reason. But I think they'll probably work that out of their system by now.
Probably. They also, I think, hopefully will have now, having come up against napalming more than once, understand how to deal with it. Because there were some really excellent moments where I think London were napalming against Swansea, and the Swansea beaters just went, oh, they just left one on the floor. What's going on?
Oh, they go to chase it.
We'll just go get it. It was quite. I thought it was pretty decent actually.
Yeah.
But
I reckon Swansea Hippogriff seconds. Anyone's game.
Sorry, how long have Hippogriff seconds been around for?
Hippogriff seconds have been around for approximately a month and a half. They're quite a new side, but if anyone played the Hippogriffs in the first half of last season, similar sort of standard.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, no.
So in that case, Swansea may have a chance against them.
Oh, definitely. Swansea.
Yeah,
Totally have a
Swansea
chance.
I would back
I think Swansea are probably slight favourites for the Hippogriffs game.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Leeds.
I think they could carve out a close one against Leeds as well if they
Yeah.
bring their game.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think Leeds. Again, I think this is one where I think Leeds have everything to lose for this one.
Yeah.
Because unless Nottingham completely just don't turn up.
Literally drop the ball.
Yeah.
Hey.
Visual metaphors. Yeah, I think that's probably Leeds should expect to go through as second seed, but if they didn't, that would be disappointing for them, I think.
Yeah.
So, but it could happen because
Leeds.
Because Leeds, yeah. There's some teams where they're like the French rugby team. It depends on which one turns up on the day. Yeah. You've got no idea how they go. They could do really, really well or just do really badly. Yeah.
That's the most relevant thing I've said all night. Come on.
You're here for a reason.
I am, yes. I'm here all night.
Okay, so general thoughts, guys. Matt, you go.
Yeah.
Not you, Matt.
Oh,
you,
Batman.
Matt.
This is why we shouldn't have invited him.
Technically, Alex and I technically have same names.
It was not the same name.
No, exactly, true. So
Matt O'Connor.
Matt.
Yes. I think there's definitely some interesting games there. There's not really a traditional group of death, which is good things and bad things. In that there's not one where everyone's going, "Ooh, that'll be great," but in the same vein, it means that the sides that are better and deserve to be in the upper bracket will likely be in the upper bracket, which is good because obviously, you want the best teams in the knockout rounds.
Yeah.
But you also want the chance of some upsets, which I think is
not magic of the cup.
Yeah. I think next year we're going to be seeing much more tight games between the second seeds and what are currently like the would-be third seeds.
Yeah.
But this season, I think there's actually pretty clear tier delineation between those levels. I think there's a top 8 and a next 8, and then probably a next 8, and then probably a next 8 after that in every. So I think it's fairly well divided.
Exception of
Right. I think the lines blur a lot more between the third and fourth seeds.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, and I think I think it'll be really interesting. So, Matt, let's go for what group are you most excited to see, and what match are you most excited to see from these?
Group-wise, I think I'm probably going to go with Group D. I think Group D will be quite interesting. Matches. I want to see how the Hippogriffs hold up against the Chimeras.
Very fair.
Yeah.
I've been blowing the Hippogriff trumpet all season.
I've been blowing Hippogriffs all season.
So I want to see how they do against the Chimeras. They struggled against the big boys at Northern. Let's see if they've kicked on.
Cool. Okay. Other Matt.
Other Matt. Oh yeah, look, it's like we've already been discussing. So it looks like a very clear cut. They've been very precise with like how the team is split out, and that's good. And it's good, and it's going to make for some good Quidditch. And the teams that deserve to go up. I mean, there's nothing I need to say that hasn't already been said. I'm looking forward to seeing Group F. I think particularly Loughborough and Leicester.
Yeah.
Just I really want to see what that looks like. Taxes and Durham. I'm not from there. I want to see how that plays out. Like, there's a lot of like really a lot of really close games that come out of this. Falmouth as well. Falmouth SBC 1. I think there's just going to be a lot of really good tight games, assuming the teams show up on the day. But it's going to be some good Quidditch.
So the match you would definitely watch.
Which I would definitely watch would be Loughborough and Leicester.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
I think it's Durham Taxes for me. That's the big game.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not quite as close as Brizzle Bears Werewolves, I think. But I think Taxes on a good day could push that to swim range, and we know they have the quality to catch it on the stitch. So, in terms of groups, I'd say I'm actually very interested by Group E because I want to see York Falmouth.
Yep.
But I think Group D is probably the closest thing to a kind of marquee competitive group out there.
Okay, I'm going to say Group C is my most interesting one because I think after Warwick, the other three could be potentially interchangeable.
Okay, yeah, based on that, I see.
Yeah,
I
think that could be anyone's game after Warwick. It depends entirely. Again, they're a bit like Leeds. All those three teams, it depends entirely on who turns up on the day.
Yeah.
How, particularly with, I know SQC2 suffer quite a lot from injury issues, things like that. So I think that could be anyone's game for the second seed in those groups. In that group, rather. Match-wise, it's very, very tough, but I think for me it probably does have to be Loughborough and Leicester. I think.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really interesting. But I think this is shaping up to be a really, really interesting BQC.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about what happens in the next round, presumably you're going to see the top seeds matched up against the other second seeds who come through. Who do you think the top seeds will be hoping for to come second? Obviously, the top seeds will be hoping for upsets.
Yeah.
From unexpected teams getting through as second seeds. But I can see a lot of the top teams getting through the semis pretty easily. I think Peel, Loughborough, Brizzle Bears are the ones who are going to have the most difficulty, and then probably Durham. I think there's a solid top four of SVC 1, Chimeras, Warwick, and Nightmares.
That's fair.
I think they're going to be the semi-finalists.
So a classic.
Yeah,
Classic. Pretty solid.
pretty much.
So yeah, I think that'll be interesting. I would agree. I think that it's relatively certain who would be going through, but I think there is definitely the potential for upset.
There's a lot of room for that.
And I think there could be some real upsets in just general matches. I think there'll be a lot of single matches that, whilst they may not overall affect the final standings, could just upset people.
There's a lot of teams, solid teams, who could play above their level and pull out a great result. Teams like, I don't know, Chester, Reading, York, maybe even Grizzlebees. I can see all of those pulling out surprise results if teams let them get too close.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd like to see Bangor get caught by Norwich. The cat amongst the pigeons. That'd be hilarious.
I think it'll be really, really interesting, and I think that a lot of teams have got a lot to think about coming up to BQC now, and I think a lot of people are going to be pretty excited about this.
My phone's still buzzing.
Yeah,
still going.
Been
Coming, I promise. God.
Shouting out by Shara as well, actually, for saying London will struggle.
Yeah, it's probably one in there. Get off the stream.
Anyway, so I think that probably wraps it up. This is our summary.
We should all
of
choose our team to win, though.
Yeah.
Who's going to
Okay,
win?
team to win. Yeah, go on then.
Nottingham.
Matt.
I want to see Warwick win, actually. After Southern, how close that was between them and Chimeras, I would like to see Warwick win.
Nightmares.
So there's two Nottingham.
I've never seen Nightmares.
I am very torn between Nottingham and Chimeras, just because I like watching Chimeras play. I can't help it. I really like their Quidditch.
Yeah.
It's beautiful Quidditch. But also Nottingham are great, and I would love.
I would like to see our Chimeras Nottingham final.
Yeah,
Definitely.
That would be
Definitely.
an amazing final.
Yeah, I think that'd be really, really good. So
No one's backing SQC1. I think they could.
They can back
they could.
themselves.
No, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they might. That they again. I think
they're
that's
being underrated a little bit.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think.
Well, it's the Southern where they came 5th.
Yeah,
And a lot of people wrote them off after that.
wasn't it?
Fourth,
Third.
actually.
No, because they beat Bristol Bears in the semi in the third place playoff.
But they, I think SQC. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna have Ollie Craig and stuff, so who knows what could happen.
Yeah, to be honest, I think Nightmares Southampton final is a strong possibility.
That is a strong possibility. Yeah.
With the Southern finalists relegated to the third place playoff, but we'll see.
Yeah, possibly. All right, I think we'll end it there. Thanks for watching. If anyone was watching, I don't know.
We had about 50 apparently, according to my listen to.
Go us! Cool, awesome. Well, thanks very much then, guys, and see you all at BQC. Or possibly before. Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
So most of you at L tournament.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Night, guys.